Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the BotPod and episode 7 in our Tech Talk series, where we delve into the cutting edge world of robotics and autonomy. Today, I'm super excited to be joined by Fernando, a robotics sales and GTM strategist for EMEA with a really extensive career spanning the early stage startup world all the way through to MNCs. So, Fernando, great to have you as a guest today. How are you?
Very well. Thank you very much to invite me. I'm glad to be here, and it's a pleasure to try to give my point of view.
Thanks so much. I'm really looking forward to this one because today's episode focuses on the go-to-market strategies for scaling robotics across these EMEA regions, going through challenges, risks, lessons, and the fundamentals itself. And where I'd love to start with this is with your background itself, Fernando. So can you walk us and our listeners through your journey from startups to leading these European-wide go-to-market strategies within, multinationals, but also these early stage teams?
Mhm. Well, basically, I have technology, engineering background. Originally, I was born in Brazil. That my name is a Spanish name, but I am Brazilian. So this multicultural effect, I think it helps also to work in different environments. So I have been several years in my previous company that was really a startup. I was the number 33 working in the company when we worked with mobile robots, this Danish company. Then we continued this, we started as a startup, we make the scale up, and finally we finished in a very big multinational. And this is the same reality I'm doing right now with the company we are building right now, that we have 2 years of the company, the mobile robot company, no? So this is the essence of a lot of years that I have been navigating in this scale up, startup, scale up, and multinationals.
Amazing. And so with that, you kind of mentioned you have this engineering background. So what first drew you to robotics?
Also, it is true that I have been more than 10 years in the intralogistics markets with layouts and movements and the movement of the products inside the companies. No, so when I just for myself I discovered that more than 10 years ago the mobile intralogistic robots, it was like an incredible dream to see, wow, I can do all these movements without roller conveyors, belt conveyors, a lot of square meters occupying the plants. So it's a combination of this advanced technology and this real operational impact. I really loved the solution and the moment. No? So,
I get that 100%. I love, being able to see the product that you've worked so hard on actually in action and solving something real. And so I guess for you, as you mentioned, you were hire number 33. So the team, although it became a massive company by the time you
mhm.
exited, were really small when you first joined. So how did your role, I guess, evolve and that decision making change as you moved into this small 30-person company into what is, an EMEA wide GTM kind of strategy role?
It's like today, today the mobile robot company, as we are right now, we are again, in this new company, few people, and this is amazing. It's really Disney World, because it's true that you have a lot of hats, you have to touch a lot of points in the keyboard, what is good, and if you really are a proactive people, and you want to be a lot of fights, this is very nice also, and make your brain really work fast. But the transition, you need to stop and prioritize very well. No, so this prioritization is critical in every moment, in every day. So it doesn't matter how you make this prioritization, you have to create a focus, and you have to build the where I want to go, what I can do really now. I cannot do everything. No, let's do what makes sense. No, and then understand the market, the differences, and creating this scalable growth, across the situation you are facing. No, step by
Mm,
step.
And I appreciate very kind of different environments as well, going from, wearing loads of hats and need to jump over certain red tape to, okay, we've actually scaled this in X region. We now need to do the same in Y.
Mhm.
And I guess this is, your kind of bread and butter. It's kind of your your career to date growing up into this. So like when you're helping startups grow, you kind of go in at this early stage. What are those first two, three prioritization points for you when you're building this like go-to-market strategy?
This looks simple and obvious. No, I will say, and it looks obvious. No, but the point is the doers. No, you have to do it. No, so first is really to see. It's very obvious, but sometimes you have surprises. Is the product fits the market. No? So if the product you have, okay, you have a concept, an idea, you transform in a product, but this product fits the market. Okay, it fits. All right. The second is that you understand if this product has a return of investment. So I have something I've done, and this makes value for the customers. And then it's also obvious, but it's not so obvious. Sometimes people lost traction in this moment, no? And then is the like I said before, is the action. Is to do it, the ensuring the deployment. No? So the product, the ROI, and how to deploy it in the market. That is sometimes not so easy. You have to do
Mm.
it. So this is hard work and also prioritization. No? So these are the three things I believe it's important. No?
Oh, definitely. And I think, product market fit and, what problem are you actually solving is the easiest but kind of biggest question that all these companies need to ask themselves is not only does this fit with the market, does this actually solve a problem that is going to create revenue for us and reduce a cost or an issue of whichever our customer may be. So I think it's something that people get really excited about. Oh my God, we're going to build a humanoid. Why not? Okay, well, what problem is it solving? This, is this
Yeah.
ready for the market? What actions, can it take at this point? So I think they're really good points you raise. And although super simple, there are teams who definitely still probably don't put this product market fit as a top priority sometimes.
And sometimes there is this feeling that, okay, we need to automatize. Let's automatize. No, no, no. Wait. Maybe your process is well automatized. No, maybe you don't need it. Maybe you really need a lot. No, but depend on the situation. You have other priorities inside the plant. Not necessarily, oh, we need to automatize everything. No, you need to make the more effective the system, the safety, the traceability of the products, a lot of small things, now
Mm.
considering the situation of the market. So robotic, as much as flexible, I think is a good deployment and good automatization. But
Mm.
I'm just jumping with some thoughts.
No, no, I love it. And please, speak freely. It's what makes this podcast a great place for people to listen because we are so free with our thoughts and tend to snowball into other stories and situations, which is very prevalent to how the robotics market is as well. So many changes at such fast pace, you need to be able to adapt to those. And as you kind of mentioned, people see those small signals where, oh, okay, we know this will be interesting to a customer, or oh, this robot does the thing it needs to do. But you need to have all of those signals aligned in order to get that to properly scale, right? So you can't have a really good product with no ROI because there's a missing signal, right, to get this to market. But are there any like mistakes that you often see or like see regularly that come up when a startup is trying to scale like too early, like whether they haven't got the right product or the right level of maturity to create ROI? Like, yeah, what are those most common mistakes you see?
I have two answers to this:
Right.
correct political one and non-correct political one. No? So
Perfect.
the correct political one is going to say to grow very fast without establishing the base. No, a very fast expanding to many markets very quickly to show that you are everywhere, but and scaling sales before the right deployment of what you can support and can give service, you can transfer your knowledge. This creates sometimes a chaotic situation, no? That you're showing much more than what you're really able to do it. No? And this will generate problems to you also in the future because you're not going to be able to give the service and the support. So you're going to lose a lot of those things, no credibility, not to lose that market, not repetitive business, and the no non-correct political answer that when you start a company, a startup thinking with this startup mind that everybody's thinking, oh, I want to make a startup to sell the company. Wait. I don't think so. No, I think you have to create something that you believe can be good for you and for tomorrow, and maybe for a lot of generations. I don't believe the Coca-Cola started, well, sorry, some big company started some product believing that it's going to sell to somebody else. It's fair, I'm not saying, and everybody wants this jackpot, no? But no, the essence of the company must be the company, the mission. So, and this sometimes this is good and bad, no? Because when you are like a startup, like we are, a mobile robot company, we are developing our products. We have a plan of a lot of other things, other products for the future. We're not living every day thinking if somebody. No. We're living for us. We're living for the customers. We're living for the partners. So this is the non-political essence
I
that there is
actually love
too much
that point.
focus
I
on.
actually love that point, to be honest. Like as you like some people do go in with this, cash is
Mindset.
king mindset of I'm going to build something to sell it. Then you probably lose a bit of like your passion in the product and the mission because your mission changes from we want to build something amazing to we want to build something we can sell.
The
So that's
focus
really
is the customer.
interesting.
The focus is the
Exactly.
customer. It's what they need, and then what you can make better through their need. And then you create value, and then people will see the value in your company. Then people may want to buy, no? Because the other is only speculations, no? So if you really create something good, well, it's going to shine. No way.
I love that. And I think then that kind of brings me on to a slightly different direction that is still just as interesting to me, which is you kind of speak about EMEA as for like a market, right? But there
Mhm.
are very different nuances, adoption rates, investment levels across different countries in the region. So how do you treat this? Do you, as an EMEA strategist yourself, go in as we treat this as kind of an overarching region, or like how do you differentiate or split up these collection of kind of markets within the region?
I really love this question because is fantastic. I love because every country is different from the other. No, every region is different from the other, and every human being is different from the other. So whenever you talk with somebody, doesn't matter the country. When I say reference from China to Chile, from Brazil to Turkey, from for example, you see Europe from Spain to Sweden or
Yeah.
UK or Germany. Oh, we are very different. Yeah, but the human being is more or less the same. Everybody start a call, they say, no, we are very different. Our country is different. We have a specific culture. Of course, there is a specific behavior, a culture, but the essence is more or less the same. No, people they want a reliable, affordable product, a partner that they can trust, and if it justifies, they will apply. And of course, there is difference of speed, the implementation of technology, and depending in the case of mobile robots, no, in our case is a pallet jack specific for intralogistics, no, there are some segments that, of course, they are in a very different speed, like automotive. They know about this. They have specialists on this in their plant. So it's much more easy to make the deployment. So every country that is automotive, it's going to be in the automotive market, much more easy. FMCG, a little bit different. If there is a multinational, the culture, the cross culture of the countries has crossed borders. Is a little bit more easy. But we face it here locally or in those years, and now also in EMEA, that sometimes we have very strong results in Mediterranean countries. And they say, why? How? Because the salary is not so high in the north as the north, no? So the price is the same. And why you have a more difficult ROI to justify this? Not necessarily. The speed of implementation can be even higher because also is focusing on other things, the safety, less complexity of a lot of people, like Mexico is working very well also for us. We have been our new product of pallet, very incredible good request from Latin America, and it's like a contradiction. Of course, the more um, automated countries has a much more easy approach. So, in general, I can see EMEA like big regions. Not only there are countries, every country is a little bit different, no? Like Portugal and Spain, they are touching, but they are different, no? Italy and France, no, but they are different. But in a sense, we have very big areas that they behave a little bit similar, no? So the north of Africa, the Emirate, the Middle East, no? Then we have the Mediterranean and the East and the North. No? These are the main regions that they need a little bit of tuning, but in the sense, I feel the same.
I was gonna say like it's the cultural nuances that actually really interest me as well, like as just on a personal interest, because as people we sell to people, right? But what we
Always.
are selling is a product that needs to work when the people aren't there. So like again, you kind of touched on like different regions in Europe, but also touching on Mexico there. So is there anything that you see within like more of a European market nuance that requires a fundamentally different approach to certain, as you mentioned, like Asian, China, or like US teams? Anything specific that you'd be like, oh, I really have to change my approach